Well, basically, it's a 3-year project to look at particularly the Roman villa on East Cliff, which has been excavated before, but we're looking at not only at the villa itself. We've exposed the walls last year, but we're digging down below the walls to find, and have discovered that it was a site of previous settlements. We found chalk floors. This year we're going to be digging in the front garden of the villa, and this is an area that hasn't ever been dug before.
So this is a Roman villa that you've got up on the East Cliff. Now, exactly how old is this?
Well, there were 2 villas, in fact, but they were obviously from the Claudian invasion, that is the Roman invasion in AD 43.
So this dates to about 2,000 years ago. Now, the Romans lived in and I suppose occupied this country for quite a while back then. Was this early on? Like, was this one of the first places that the Romans came to in the UK?
Well, it would have been. I mean, we know that this site was used early on. We do know that even before the Romans came, that it was a settlement site. As I say, we dug down below the walls. So, and even found actually a Neolithic arrowhead, which dates back probably to 3000 BC, but certainly it was a settlement in the late Iron Age, just before the Romans invaded, and it would have been placed, as I say, it was an easy place to land. It had a shelving, a shallow shelving seashore, and also it gave access, easy access onto the North Downs Way. So it would be the natural place for people who wanted to come to England, to be the shortest distance from France, easy to get easy to get on up the cliffs, and easy then to, as I say, to proceed inland along the North Downs trackway.
So Folkestone was actually quite an important place in Roman Britain.
Yes, they consider it to be. They consider certainly this site. The archaeologists are considering this site to be, of very great importance, and because of that, they do want to find out much more about it, and it's hoped that even after the archaeological diggers finish this year, that we'll carry on in future years, in the summer at least, to have digs by the Roman villa, but also in parts beyond the Roman villa, because last year the first trenches we dug were well outside the area of the Roman villa, and in those trenches we discovered 2 pieces of Samian Roman pottery, which certainly were placed there. So we reckon the whole area is probably very rich in archaeology.
So you talked about pottery that's been found at the site, and at the moment this is being processed, being catalogued and so on in the premises on Tontine Street. Now, you've bought some of these pieces of pottery and other artefacts. What we've got here, firstly, there's a piece I'm holding now, which is, it looks like a piece of pottery. It's red and shiny, almost perfectly circular, about an inch wide, and it's got a hole in it. It looks like something could have been threaded through it. What is this? Yes,
well, that's a small disc with a hole. It's actually made up from a bit of broken Samian pottery, as it's got a design on it, as you say, and it's been used for. It's a spinning wall. It's been used for as an aid to spinning, through which the threads would pass.
So this it's like an early example of recycling. They had a piece of pottery which broke, and then they turned it into something that they could use to help them spin wool.
Well, exactly. Yes, that's right. That's very true. I just wanted to say something about the whole experience of it, because I'm not, although I'm talking about this, I have learned something about it. In fact, last summer was the first time I ever got involved in archaeology. In fact, although I've been involved with the project in terms of doing publicity for it and writing things for the website and so on and so forth, I didn't actually imagine myself getting involved in a dig, but I did. And in fact, I found the whole process really interesting. Some of it was very hard work, some of it was very boring, but I do remember, the excitement of digging up, just a Roman tile that had been for 2,000 years. And sort of late one evening, while I was the only one working there, coming across a bit of the bottom of a bit of pottery and the side of a bit of pottery, decorated quite well, and it was tremendously exciting finding this. And there was lots of bits of like this found, and. But of course, archaeology is the only way you have of finding out how people lived then is just from the objects that are found in the ground. Whether it be pottery, seashells, flint tools, certainly lots of limpet shells we found, lots of oyster shells and things like that. Apparently people ate limpets in those days. They're not very appetising. I looked up on the internet, although there are some countries that still do eat them.
People eat whelks nowadays.
Yes,
I couldn't eat a pint myself.
But... Well, that's right, whelks, but apparently not limpets for some reason, but I don't know. But so just to say that it's a very good project, and one I hope that perhaps people might consider becoming involved in. If you don't want to do any digging, you can help talk to people on the site, be involved to say what we call outreach, that is telling people, explaining people about it, about the site and what we're doing, and so on and so forth. And there are other things that you can do.
And looking at the range of stuff that you've bought here, it's not just pottery that volunteers might find. You've got, just reach across and get this.
Yeah.
Is this a brooch of some sort?
Yes, that's a Roman brooch. I mean, the remains of a Roman brooch, and there were obviously things like we did find metal objects and other things, and you never knew really what you were going to find. And there were, in fact, there are altogether, there are altogether 300 bags of finds which we're still going through and still in the business of sorting. And that's actually another area for volunteering. If people like to do that, is to help sort these finds, help classify them. So that's another area.
And I suppose this could be quite a fascinating thing to do, because I imagine some of these old artefacts come out of the ground covered in mud, not looking particularly interesting, but once they're cleaned up, you actually realise, oh, it's a brooch, it's a piece of ancient jewellery, and it's just seen the light of day for the first time in 2,000 years.
Well, exactly, and that's another thing. That's an amazing thing, because if you're digging, actually, you tend to just dig it up and you put it in a tray. You look at it, show it to other people. You leave it in the tray, and then it goes over to people who wash them. And I mean, I've been talking. So that's another branch of volunteering, really. If you don't want to dig, you can take part in washing the finds.
So obviously, you're looking for volunteers and for people to help out during the summer, but a project like this requires quite a lot of expertise and money to run it. Whereabouts do you get your funding from?
Well, we've had it's actually a sort of this is a project between three groups of people. That is it's being organised by the Canterbury Christchurch University, the Folkestone People's History Centre, and the Canterbury Archaeological Trust. They're all acting in partnership to organise the project, and. But we're very lucky with the funding. We've got over £300,000, and the majority of it has come from the Heritage Lottery Fund. But also, we would not have got that if we hadn't been given £50,000 by the Roger de Haan Charitable Trust, and also additional contributions from the Folkestone Town Council, Kent Archaeological Society, and Shepway District Council. Kent Archaeological Society lent us gave us all the barrows last year, many of which didn't survive the season, I must say, and a lot of the tools, because you need barrows, you need mattocks, you need shovels, spades, trowels, all sorts of buckets, all sorts of things you need.
Good physical exercise, archaeology.
It is, yes, it is. It can be good, yes.
So this Saturday, the 16th, you're putting on this Finds Day, and that is when visitors can go and see some of the finds that you found on the site. But you're also inviting people to bring along things that they might have found. Is that stuff that they found in their garden or on the beach or on the site?
Mainly we're looking for very old things. Because our interest at this stage is in the Roman villa, we're really looking for people who might have found things in their gardens, in Weir Bay Road, and stretching back the houses behind Weir Bay Road, and also the things they might have found walking along the beach below where the Roman villa is, below Eastcliff. Items they might have found down there, and they can be anything old looking. It might be a tile, a Roman tile, obviously a bit of pottery, coins, any metal objects, things like that. And all that the two archaeologists want to do, that's Andrew Richardson from the Canterbury Archaeological Trust and Jennifer Jackson from the Portable Antiquity Scheme. All they really want to do is just look at the object, identify it, date it, record what it is, and then obviously it's free. The person retains ownership of it. So that's all that we want to do. All sorts of people have come along. All sorts of people have really enjoyed it, and I think it's helped. It's contributed a lot to their own lives, as well as helping us and helping the people of Folkestone to reveal and add to their heritage.
Nick Spurrier, thank you very much. And remember that this Saturday, the 16th of April, A Town Unearthed will be putting on its Finds Day. Anyone is welcome. 65 Tontine Street between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m.